bring in Chris McNeil, a.k.a. Reflog18 of Twitter. We don't know his face very often, but here's Chris. We do know him from Twitter as, and I say this with the utmost respect, Cleveland's professional Twitter troll, Cleveland sports professional Twitter troll. And he does a better job than anyone else making memes that make us laugh. What's up, Chris? How you doing, man?
Hey, I appreciate it. How are you guys doing today?
Good, man. I see he got his own mixing board over there. I see that.
I'm all set, guys. You're talking about a pro over here. I'm a professional on Twitter, professional.
You got the good equipment, too.
There we go. Hey, what a great time to be in Cleveland right now, huh?
No
Cleveland
questions.
sports. You got the Cavs, you got the Guardians, the Browns. We love the Browns, so you got all three. We're kind of rolling right now. So, the trolling is kind of on a positive,
Right.
rather than the negative, which is much more fun. That's right. Been around long enough to know that this all turns. The worm will eventually come back around.
That's right. That's right.
How did you get into it? Like, everybody when you in the game. I love this one, by the way. The Cavs win 8 in a row. Love it. How did this become your niche market? Like, how was this thing? You was like, you know what? I'm gonna do troll memes on the internet, and I'm gonna be hot for it. When did you come up with that conclusion?
Well, Garrett, I just heard you mention about a divorce, and I kind of went through a divorce myself.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I used to enjoy with my wife, this was years ago, was kind of making witty comments that I thought were, funny. And eventually she found out, she didn't find them very funny anymore, and she divorced me. So I had all this content, and I thought, where else can I go with it? And I started going to Twitter, and it developed a following. And then, of course, that kind of dovetailed into that infamous parade when the Browns went 0-16, and then it blew up from there.
Well, give Brady some cheering up. Cheer him up down there, right? Because, I saw a man last night after threw a touchdown pass. He was like, the world was off his shoulder. I was like, relax. I like, oh, my God.
That's tough, man.
That's tough down there. I was like, oh, my God.
When you look at your memes, which is the team that's the easy? Well, the Browns are. By the way, they're 0-16. But what do you have the most fun with? Who do you have the most fun with? And has any player or team jumped in your DM and said,
Oh yeah. So I've had some dialogue with the Cleveland Browns over the years, in particular, right around that parade. They weren't huge fans of that 0-16 parade, as you may imagine. So we had some conversations over whether it was appropriate, whether it should happen, whether I'm evil or what I am overall. So yeah, I've had dialogue with all of the teams in some form, but generally I think by this time people kind of get what I do. It's all in good fun. You either laugh or cry with our sports teams. And I choose to laugh more often than cry, which has saved my sanity over the years. And I think that resonates with people. And I think most of the sports teams and most of the people out there kind of get that at this point.
So how did the parade come about?
Yeah, so as you guys know, the Cavs won it all. We had a legitimate parade downtown, over 1 million people down there. And then you had the Indians at that time going to the World Series. So we had some really good vibes. And then the Browns that season. It was like the first game, it was just ugly. And I think I put a tweet out that said sarcastically, this team deserves a parade too. And a buddy of mine, Vince Guerreri, he reached out to me and he said, hey, for $25 in this paperwork, you can actually have a parade in the city of Cleveland. And I thought, what the heck, for $25, I'm going to do it. And so I put it in. Eventually that season, we continued to lose. I was at the Christmas Eve game when we played the Chargers. We ended up winning. I'd raised all kinds of money at that point to have the parade. And what we ended up doing was we donated that to the Cleveland Food Bank. So it ended up being a great story.
Right.
Okay. So I thought that was going to be the end of it, right? Put a nice bow on it. We're done with this, boys. We move on. And we all know what happened the following week or the following season. We went 0-16, ended up actually having the parade. There was a lot of doubt going into it as to whether I could pull it off and everybody could come together and what this was actually going to look like. And I think it ended up being a pretty cathartic thing for everybody who was down there. It was so dang cold. But we had almost 4,000 people that were down there kind of enjoying it. You had other teams that go to the playoffs every year at that point. And then you had us, and we were looking for our party, and that was kind of our party for the day. We also collected cans for the Cleveland Food Bank and made it into a positive on the side. So ended up being a real positive thing. I think I'd like to have a real parade, gentlemen, a parade with a Super Bowl championship. rather than just our cathartic parade, our kind of false funeral. But for what it was, I think it turned out fairly well. And now I wish the Browns would really get us to the playoffs and to a Super Bowl.
Well, I was going to say this as you talk about, what do you think, to your point about a real parade?
Yeah.
What do you think this looks like if the Browns ever made it to a Super Bowl? Because I see a parade in two places.
Yeah,
the parade's going to be at the Super Bowl,
right?
The pre-party, and then the after party. If we win it here, what's that look like to you?
Brad, I was 7 years old when Bernie Kosar got hit late by Mark Gastineau at that Jets game in Old Municipal. And I was standing on my seat while people were like flocking from the top decks of Old Municipal. And I was yelling at them, the Browns are going to come back. The Browns are going to come back. And we all know what happened, right? Bernie gets hit late, double overtime, the Browns win. I'm 7 years old. That's all I know for the Browns was this kind of excitement. I'll never forget being outside the stadium, listening to everybody. The here we go, Brownies, here we go, the barking, everybody honking, and it was just pure excitement. And that's been gone for so long. Yeah. We had our little playoff run with Pittsburgh and almost beating Kansas City, but that energy in Cleveland is unmatched when the Browns are good. And I would love to get a piece of that once again. And my God, we go to the Super Bowl. I mean, shut down Cleveland for the month before, the month after. I mean, that would be incredible. I mean, the Cavs parade was great.
Right.
The city has not seen anything like if the Browns make it to the Super Bowl. It's a football first town. And I had a taste of it back then, made me, for better or for worse, a fan for life. And here I sit just waiting still at 43 years old.
Well, I'm in the club with you, so I'm here with you.
How do you? What are your thoughts on the elf? It seemed to be hit or miss with a lot of people. A lot of people don't really. They're like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the elf?
Well, I like the fact that it's kind of newsworthy in kind of that fun way, so I can have some fun with it. I put a pipe in his mouth and had people actually believe that that they painted an elf with a pipe in its mouth on the 50-yard line at Cleveland Stadium.
I fell for that, Chris, by the way. You got me.
Very good. I always love it. I always love it when you realize that calls are coming from in the house, and you're like, oh no, I got tripped up by him. I changed it up to a Cavs logo, a couple of weeks ago, and the Cavs are really kind of starting to come on as they've continued. So I don't know. Those kind of offbeat things around the teams are really where I have the most fun. It's not so much X's and O's, as you guys know. It's not breaking down what these teams do. It's really the fun around it. So to that extent, give me an elf, give me whatever you want to do. I'm going to have some fun with it.
McNuggets, you got a couple. We get to the top 5 with him?
Yeah, we're going to do top 5 with Chris. It's an awesome top 5. We asked him his 5 best celebrity encounters on Twitter. And whenever, and these are good. These are really, really good. But whenever we ask the internet for a question like that, and Reflog is the internet, it's brought to us by our good friends at PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. So, Chris, I will introduce the top 5 for you, and then you can give us a little more explanation on this backstory of what happened. You ready?
I'll do my best. Let's go.
All right. Number 5 of Reflog's best internet celebrity encounters was when Jenna Jameson told the Browns to draft Josh Allen, and she was right.
I have to thank your show, actually, because you brought this top of mind to me last week when you were asking me about the top 5 interactions I'd have. I remembered back to the Jenna Jameson back in 2018. Gentlemen, I had my chance to shoot my shot with Jenna Jameson, and I took it. I asked her who she thought the Browns were going to draft at 1 and 4 and who they should draft, and she said Josh Allen. So I give her props for that, for being a good NFL draft analyst, a regular Mel Kiper on that. We could have gotten Josh Allen at 1 or 4, so she was right on both of those accounts.
Did she give any reason why she likes Josh Allen?
No. She just responded with Josh Allen, so I had no idea outside of that.
Josh Allen, I mean, you could have shot your shot, homie, 2018. I'm just saying.
It worked out for the, well, I guess worse for the Browns because Allen turned out to be the right. But Jenna Jameson, an everyday Mel Kiper. I like that. Okay, number 4 was when Ann Coulter believed a picture of the Cavs parade was actually a Trump rally and tweeted about it.
What happened?
I remember
this. Is funny.
Yeah, so this has kind of become almost a cliche for anybody who's hung around Cleveland Twitter, and that is putting out the Cavs 2016 championship parade as insert event here. And in this case, it was a Trump rally. And I got Ann Coulter and a bunch of pundits to post on their website that this was a Trump rally and that the fake media wasn't putting it out there for whatever reason. And in fact, it got so far, it made it into the Mueller report because there was an account, gentlemen, at 10_GOP, which was a Russian bot. And it was discovered by Twitter because it was retweeting and pushing the 2016 Cavs victory parade. So you'll see it every once in a while come up on Twitter ad nauseum. It's a cliche now, but back in the day, it was fantastic. Took down a Russian bot. Believe it or not, made it into the Mueller report.
Shout out to Mr. Bob Mueller. We have not seen him ever again since he produced that report.
Number 3 of Reflog's all-time celebrity encounters on Twitter. Your Cavaliers-Warriors bet was Smash Mouth.
Yeah, so this was not a smart bet, as it turns out. 2018 finals, you had the Cavs, you had Golden State, and I made a bet with the band Smash Mouth that if I won, they were gonna send me a bunch of Smash Mouth gear, shirts, that sort of thing, some Smash Mouth swag, and if they won, which they ended up doing, I'd have to change my AV to the Smash Mouth logo for 2 weeks. So I did end up changing my AV for 2 weeks. We got swept, unfortunately. And they definitely got the last laugh because they also sent me a bunch of Smash Mouth swag that went to my kids. And now my kids are huge Smash Mouth fans. So
got you twice, dog.
That's the ultimate long play on the part of Smash Mouth. Pretty
got
impressive.
You twice, cuz.
So this was the one, Chris, I couldn't find as much information on. So you're going to have to kind of tell us the backstory in a little more depth, but something between you and Mike Clevenger and how he wanted to hunt you down.
That's exactly right. So Mike Clevenger, back, what was this, 2019, I believe, he wanted to find out who I was. And every once in a while, you'll have players who get kind of upset with something that I'll say or do online, and they'll kind of come after me. Well, Mike Clevenger said, I will give a free pair of signed cleats to anybody who can give me Reflog's government name. And what he didn't realize is that everybody who follows me is more than willing to give me up for a pair of free cleats, including my own mother. My own mother was the first person to respond and say his name is Chris McNeil. He lives in Granville, and she would have given him even more information on top of that if he would have just asked. So I think he was overwhelmed and he took down the tweet. And my mom, still to this day, whenever she hears about Mike Clevenger, she's like, I never did get those cleats.
She never got those cleats, huh?
Never got them. Never got them.
Bro,
Mike was a little thin-skinned when he was here. That's very true. He was thin-skinned.
Yeah, he did not like me. He did not like me. Of course, there are many of those athletes that passed through that ended up not liking me, so I'm kind of used to that.
And number 1, and this one is an absolute doozy. I'm jealous this hasn't happened to me in my life, but Ryan Reynolds. You want to explain this one?
Yeah, how about that for a heavy hitter? Ryan Reynolds. So I like to put out memes, especially when we win, right? When the Browns, you have a win, you feel good. So I put together a meme based on Free Guy, the movie that Ryan Reynolds was in, where he's kind of blissfully unaware, walking down the street, everything's blowing up around him. And I made him wearing all Browns gear because that's the way we feel, right? On a Victory Monday, no matter what's going on around us, we feel really good and are blissfully unaware of everything, family, everything else. Well, he really liked the meme. But one of the things I edited in there was a bottle of Jack Daniels. And he didn't like that. Not because it was alcohol, but because it wasn't his alcohol. Right. It wasn't Aviation Gin, which he produces. So he then sent me some of his gin, some of the swag for Aviation Gin, and he had me remake the meme. And so now if you see that meme out there, and hopefully we'll see it a few more times this season, it'll have Aviation Gin in the character's hand as he walks down the street and everything's exploding in his brown shirt. So that is my story with Ryan Reynolds, which was fantastic.
That's kind of dope. That's kind of dope.
Free booze is always good, so
That's
you
right.
can get it.
I need that whole bottle. Send me a case, bro. Have you ever? You said you're happily divorced. Have you ever?
Yes.
Ever had a date? Have you ever gotten a date from your memes?
Oh, wow. That's a personal question there. And I will tell you this. I have. Yeah.
Good sense of humor. That's what they want, right?
Well, okay.
Was it a quality date, though?
He gonna give us.
I am dating a fabulous woman right now who is actually, and I'm revealing this on your show, a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. But she came and found me on Twitter and thought that I was so funny that she jumped into my DMs. You know, a tale as old as time, right? Jumping into the DMs. So yes, it has happened.
Twitter can make true love.
Yes, it is.
Can we tweet that out, Reflog? Can we put that out there?
I think I'm already in trouble.
You know, we be asking them questions. You can come here and listen. You know what it is, man. Reflog, I had to do it to you, but I appreciate you jumping on with us, man. You got to give us an ultimate. Feel free to give us an ultimate Cleveland Sports Show meme. We're thin-skinned.
Okay.
Bull is. Jay's really sensitive. Do it for those guys. Mike Polk, we'd love to laugh and put it out there too. We'll retweet it.
Absolutely. I'll go to work on that. I'll go back in the lab right after the show here.
I'm terrified. Chris, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks,
Chris, thanks.